Hi Year 4, this is Monday's maths lesson and our calculation starter today is Roman numerals. So I've got a series of questions on the screen for you and on the right you have a number list to support you with that. So pause the video now and have a go at answering these questions. Okay, welcome back. So this first little section was to translate these numbers to Roman numerals. So 35 translated to Roman numerals is XXXV. 100 is C, and you can remember that being C and cent, century, because there's 100 years in a century, so you can remember it like that. And then 99 is XCIX. And then translate to numbers, so MD is 1000 add 500. Then MCD is 1000 add 400. And then at the bottom we have got some calculations to complete. So CD plus DC is M. VI and IB is X. XI and IX is XX. XL add LX is C, and then CM plus MC is MM, and then CX plus XC is CC. So a massive well done if you've got all of those correct. So now I am going to move on to today's lesson. Okay. Today we are going to recognise fractions greater than 1. So basically, what is a fraction? Let's move myself down here. What is a fraction greater than 1? So a fraction greater than 1 means you've got a whole and you've got some other fractions after it. What do you notice about the numerator and the denominator? So I've got 6/4 here. Can you maybe just write down what do you notice about the numerator and the denominator? Pause the video now and write down an answer to that question. Okay, smashing, well done. So you will notice that my denominator is smaller than the numerator. And whilst we were looking at fractions last week, all of our fractions, our numerator was smaller than our denominator. Now this is still a fraction, and this is called an improper fraction. And you'll go into more detail about that when you move into year 5. But today we are just going to recognise fractions greater than 1 and what that means. So to the right of my fraction, I have 2 cakes, let's say, and I have split my 2 cakes into quarters. Now, I wonder if you could maybe just say aloud or write down, why have I split those cakes into quarters? You're welcome to pause the video if you want to write down an answer, or you can shout it out. Okay, yes, so I've split them into quarters because my denominator is quarters. So it's always our denominator that tells us what we are going to split our cake, chocolate, anything into. So I've split them all into quarters. And you may also notice that there's only some of them have got, oh goodness, I can't get my words out. You will notice that there are only some quarters that have been shaded in red. So I wonder if you can count how many I have shaded in red. Well done if you said 6. And that's because my numerator is 6. So you can imagine it as greedy Miss Long has eaten 6 pieces, 6/4 of these 2 cakes. It's very greedy. So that's how it's shown. So we've got 2/4 left. We've got half a cake left. Okay, so I'm just going to move myself over here so I'm not in the way of the part-whole model. So we can use part-whole models and sentences to support us with explaining our whole and quarters or thirds or whatever our piece has been split into. So on the left, with my right, it says there are how many quarters altogether. and we've got to fill in the blanks. My part whole model is going to help me explain this. So, as you can see, and we all recognise in year 4 now what a part whole model is. If you follow my cursor, this top one is sort of your total, and then these bottom 2 is sort of what you put together to make your total. So, I wonder if you can pause the video now and tell me how many quarters are there in my part whole model in total. Okay, well done if you said there are 5 quarters. Now there's a clue in the answer at the top. I've got 5 quarters, my fraction. And if you have a look at the bar models, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So each one has been split into 4 and there's 5 shaded. So there are 5 quarters altogether. Okay, let's have a go answering this sentence. So we know there's 5 quarters. Let's move that along. 5 quarters, and how many whole are there? So what it means by whole is, if you have a look where my cursor is at the bottom, I have a whole bar shaded, and that's 4 quarters equals a whole. So you can imagine it as you've got a piece of chocolate, you've split them all into 4, and Miss Long ate all of it. Okay, so I've eaten whole chocolate. So there's 1 whole there. And how many quarters are left? So if you see in the part model on the right, there is 1 shaded on this chocolate. So there are 1 whole and 5 quarters, because I have to add all of them up here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 left over. So there's 1 whole. Oh, sorry, I was meant to write 1 quarter there. I hope you recognise my mistake then. Well done if you did. 1 whole and 1 quarter will equal 5 quarters. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's move on. Okay, I would like you to pause the video and have a go at this question now. So I'd like you to fill in the blanks on the sentence, and I'd like you to fill in the part whole model. So you've got a bit more of a challenge than what we had on the last page. You have to fill in the numerator on the part whole model. So pause the video now and give it a go. Okay, well done for giving that a go. So what I am going to do is I am going to fill out my part whole model first to support me. And I'm going to fill out this top one. So I want to know how many thirds are shaded all together. So I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, 8 there. So I got 8 thirds is my fraction. Then I'm going to have a go at this one. How many thirds are shaded? It is 2. So we've got 2 thirds there. And then on this one might be a little bit trickier. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thirds shaded, which equal how many holes, basically saying how many holes have I got? And I've got 2 holes. Okay, so I've got 1, 2. Imagine it like that. Okay, so there are 8 thirds altogether. Okay, so I'm going to write 8 here again. And that equals how many holes is 2. And I have 2 thirds left over. So that is what you should have as your answer. Massive well done for giving that a go, and a massive well done if you got that correct. Okay, we've got one more slide to have a go at. So I'm going to move myself up here. Okay, now let's try this one. So we haven't got our part whole model on this question, but we still got our bars and we still got the same kind of question. So remember that I've got 2 bars here, but they've been split into thirds because my denominator is a third. Have a go at shading in those, goodness, I can't get my words out. Silly Miss Long. So have a go at shading in 5 thirds on the bar models. and then have a go at answering that question at the bottom and finishing off our number sentence. You can draw that out in your book or on a piece of paper and give it a go. So pause the video now. Okay, well done. Welcome back. I wonder if Miss Long can get through, this little bit without making a mistake. I'm going to get all my words out. So, what you should have as an answer is I've got 5 thirds here and they've been split into thirds. Now, I am going to shade in 5 of them because that's my numerator. I'm not going to really colour them in because we'll be here for ages and we don't want that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can imagine it as Greedy Miss Long has eaten 5 pieces of these chocolate bars all together. So 5 thirds, I've eaten 5 thirds. How many wholes are there? There is 1 whole plus 2 thirds equals 5 thirds. Let me just add in my little line for my fraction. And that is what you should have as your answer. So, well done for giving this a good go. There is a worksheet on our home learning page and there is a worksheet with answers. So make sure you go to the right one first, don't do the answers. Have a go, enjoy, and I will catch up with you later. Bye, Year 4.